Welcome to the Global Updates, bringing you the latest news from around the world. A shadow falls across the Panama Canal. For over a century, this engineering marvel has been the undisputed gateway between the Atlantic and Pacific. Now a new contender emerges, threatening to disrupt the balance of power and reshape global trade. China, the world's rising superpower, has set its sights on a daring project, a $7.5 billion canal through Nicaragua. This ambitious undertaking, if realized, could have profound implications for the United States, Latin America, and the world. The proposed Nicaragua Canal, a modern-day Silk Road across the Central American Isthmus, promises to be a game-changer. Larger and deeper than the Panama Canal, it would accommodate the colossal container ships that are becoming the backbone of global commerce. But the project is not without its critics. Environmental concerns loom large, and many question the economic viability of such a massive undertaking. The stakes are high. Control of strategic waterways has long been a key factor in global power dynamics. The Nicaragua Canal, if successful, would give China a major foothold in the Western Hemisphere, potentially challenging U.S. influence in the region. The project has already sparked alarm bells in Washington, raising concerns about national security and economic competition. The race for control of the seas, it seems, is entering a new chapter. China's interest in the Nicaragua Canal is part of a broader strategy to expand its global influence and secure access to vital resources. The canal, if completed, would give China a direct shipping route between the Pacific and Atlantic Oceans, bypassing the Panama Canal entirely. This would be a major boon for Chinese businesses, reducing shipping costs and transit times. The project is being spearheaded by the Hong Kong-Nicaragua Development Group, a private company with close ties to the Chinese government. The proposed route would cut through Lake Nicaragua, Central America's largest freshwater lake, raising concerns about the environmental impact on this fragile ecosystem. The canal's construction would require massive dredging operations, potentially disrupting aquatic life and polluting the lake. Critics argue that the project poses a significant threat to Nicaragua's biodiversity and could have devastating consequences for the local communities that depend on the lake for their livelihoods. Despite these concerns, the Nicaraguan government has thrown its support behind the project, hoping that it will bring much-needed investment and jobs to the country. The canal is expected to create thousands of construction jobs and generate significant revenue for the Nicaraguan economy. However, many experts question whether these economic benefits will outweigh the potential environmental costs. The history of the Panama Canal is a testament to the strategic importance of waterways and the shifting tides of global power. The United States played a pivotal role in the canal's construction, seizing control of the project from France in the early 20th century. The U.S. saw the canal as vital to its national interests, providing a shortcut for its navy and facilitating trade between its east and west coasts. For decades, the Panama Canal remained under U.S. control, a symbol of American power and influence in the region. However, in 1977, President Jimmy Carter signed the Torrijos-Carter Treaties, which paved the way for the eventual handover of the canal to Panama. On December 31, 1999, the Panama Canal officially became the property of the Panamanian people. The transfer of the Panama Canal marked a significant shift in the geopolitical landscape. It signaled the decline of U.S. hegemony in Latin America and the rise of new power players, particularly China. China has become a major investor in Panama, pouring billions of dollars into infrastructure projects, including ports and logistics hubs. This growing Chinese presence in Panama has raised concerns in Washington about Beijing's intentions and its potential to challenge American interests in the region. The Panama Canal's history serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us that control of strategic waterways is not immutable. It is a prize that is constantly contested, a reflection of the ever-evolving dynamics of global power. The Nicaragua Canal, if realized, could trigger a new chapter in this ongoing saga, one with far-reaching consequences for the United States, China, and the world. Nicaragua's gamble economic boom or environmental bust. For Nicaragua, one of the poorest countries in the Western Hemisphere, the proposed canal represents a gamble of immense proportions. The government sees the project as a potential economic game-changer, a chance to lift the country out of poverty and transform it into a major logistics hub. The canal's construction is projected to create tens of thousands of jobs and generate billions of dollars in revenue, providing a much-needed boost to the Nicaraguan economy. However, these rosy economic projections are based on optimistic assumptions, and overlook the potential environmental consequences of the project. The canal's route would cut through Lake Nicaragua, a vital freshwater source for millions of people and a biodiversity hotspot home to numerous endemic species. The massive dredging operations required to create the canal channel would generate enormous amounts of sediment, potentially suffocating aquatic life and disrupting the lake's delicate ecosystem. Environmentalists warn that the project could have a devastating impact on Lake Nicaragua's water quality, threatening the livelihoods of local communities that depend on the lake for fishing and agriculture. Moreover, the canal's construction would require the displacement of thousands of people, many of them indigenous communities with deep cultural ties to the land. The Nicaraguan government has faced criticism for its lack of transparency in the project's planning and its failure to adequately consult with affected communities. The Nicaragua Canal represents a Faustian bargain for the country. The promise of economic prosperity comes at a steep price: the potential devastation of one of Central America's most important ecosystems and the displacement of vulnerable communities. Washington's watchful eye, security concerns, and economic rivalry. The proposed Nicaragua Canal has not gone unnoticed in Washington, where it has been met with a mixture of skepticism, concern, and outright opposition. U.S. officials have expressed doubts about the project's economic viability and raised concerns about its potential impact on U.S. national security interests. From a security standpoint, the prospect of a Chinese-controlled canal in Nicaragua is a major concern for the United States. The canal could provide China with a strategic foothold in the Western Hemisphere, allowing it to project military power and potentially threaten U.S. interests in the region. The canal's location, just a few hundred miles from the U.S. mainland, would give China a strategic advantage in any future conflict. It would also complicate U.S. efforts to maintain freedom of navigation in the Caribbean Sea and the Gulf of Mexico, vital waterways for American trade and security. Economically, the Nicaragua Canal could pose a challenge to U.S. businesses by providing an alternative route for goods traveling between Asia and the Americas. While the impact on the Panama Canal is uncertain, the new canal could potentially divert some traffic and put downward pressure on shipping rates. The Nicaragua Canal project highlights the growing strategic rivalry between the United States and China, a competition that is playing out not only in the military and economic spheres, but also in the realm of infrastructure and global development. The isthmus intrigued Chinese investments and espionage fears. The Nicaragua Canal project is just one piece of a larger puzzle, a complex tapestry of Chinese investments and growing influence in Latin America. From ports and railways to telecommunications networks and mining operations, Chinese companies are pouring billions of dollars into the region, seeking to secure access to natural resources and expand their economic footprint. This surge in Chinese investment has been met with a mixed response in Latin America. Some countries welcome the influx of capital and the promise of economic development, while others are wary of becoming too reliant on China and potentially falling into a debt trap. The United States has watched China's growing influence in Latin America with growing unease. Washington is particularly concerned about Chinese investments in strategic sectors such as telecommunications and infrastructure, which could give Beijing leverage over critical networks and potentially facilitate espionage activities. The U.S. has accused Huawei, a Chinese telecommunications giant, of using its equipment to spy on foreign governments, allegations that Huawei denies. Despite these concerns, many Latin American countries have embraced Huawei's technology, attracted by its affordability and technological prowess. The Nicaragua Canal project has further fueled these fears, raising concerns that China could use the canal to gather intelligence on U.S. military activities and monitor shipping traffic in the region. The intricate dance between China, the United States, and Latin American countries is a delicate one, fraught with geopolitical tensions and economic considerations. The Nicaragua Canal project is a microcosm of this complex interplay, a reminder that the battle for influence in the 21st century is being waged not only on the battlefield but also in the boardrooms and on the blueprints of global infrastructure projects. As we navigate through the turbulent waters of global geopolitics, the potential impacts of the Nicaragua Canal on international trade cannot be overstated. This ambitious project, if realized, promises to create a new maritime route that could revolutionize global shipping patterns. By providing an alternative to the Panama Canal, The Nicaragua Canal could significantly reduce transit times and costs for ships traveling between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. Video clip: aerial view of cargo ships navigating through a canal. Experts predict that this new waterway could alleviate congestion at the Panama Canal, which has been struggling to accommodate the increasing volume of global trade. With the capacity to handle larger vessels, the Nicaragua Canal could attract a substantial share of the world's maritime traffic, reshaping the logistics landscape and creating new economic opportunities for countries along its route. Image map showing the proposed Nicaragua Canal route. However, this potential shift in global trade dynamics also raises several concerns. The environmental impact of constructing and operating such a massive infrastructure project could be significant, affecting local ecosystems and communities. Additionally, the canal's strategic location could become a focal point for geopolitical tensions, as major powers vie for influence over this critical maritime choke point. Video clip: environmental activists protesting. Despite these challenges, the promise of a new trade route continues to capture the imagination of policymakers and business leaders worldwide. If successfully implemented, the Nicaragua Canal could become a game-changer in the world of international trade, offering new avenues for economic growth and development. Video clip: global leaders discussing trade at a summit. As we look towards the future, the question remains, will the Nicaragua Canal fulfill its potential to transform global trade? Or will it become another ambitious project that fails to materialize? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: the world's eyes are firmly fixed on this new waterway in the Americas. Image: a bustling port with cranes loading containers onto ships. As we stand on the brink of a new era in global trade, the future of the Nicaragua Canal remains uncertain. While the potential economic benefits are immense, the challenges that lie ahead are equally formidable. Video clip: construction workers at a canal site. The canal's construction will require unprecedented engineering feats and substantial financial investments. There are concerns about the project's viability, especially given the complex terrain and the need for cutting-edge technology to ensure its success. Image engineers reviewing blueprints. Moreover, the canal's impact on local communities and ecosystems cannot be ignored. Environmentalists warn of the possible destruction of vital habitats and the displacement of indigenous populations. Video clip: local community meeting discussing the canal. Yet, for every challenge, there is an opportunity. If these obstacles can be navigated, the Nicaragua Canal could serve as a beacon of progress, demonstrating how human ingenuity can overcome even the most daunting hurdles. Video clip: innovative engineering solutions being implemented. The canal could also act as a catalyst for regional development, providing jobs and boosting local economies. The ripple effects could extend far beyond Nicaragua, fostering greater economic integration and cooperation across the Americas. Video clip: local businesses thriving. However, the geopolitical landscape is fraught with tension. The involvement of major powers in the canal's construction and operation could lead to conflicts of interest and strategic rivalries. Video clip: international diplomats in discussions. As the world watches with bated breath, the fate of the Nicaragua Canal hangs in the balance. Will it become a symbol of a new era in global trade, or will it be remembered as another grand vision that failed to materialize? Video clip: time lapse of canal construction. Only time will reveal the true impact of this ambitious endeavor, but one thing is certain: the journey towards realizing the Nicaragua Canal will be as complex and dynamic as the global trade routes it aims to transform. Image: sunset over a bustling port. As we look to the future, we must remain vigilant, balancing ambition with caution and innovation with responsibility. The Nicaragua Canal stands as a testament to what is possible when vision meets determination. Video clip: ships navigating through a canal at sunset.